All right, welcome to flip number 4, talking about some composite shapes. What did the triangle say to the, I don't know what you call that. Ha. Yep. Okay, Eric drew a diagram of his backyard. What is the area of his backyard? When we see a shape like this, first thing we want to do is try to find some more familiar shapes that we can break it into. So if we can find the area of those separate pieces, then we can easily figure out the area of the whole thing by adding it all together. And so looking at this shape, what I see first is two rectangles. Some people might say, oh, there's a rectangle here too. You could do it that way. You could do it multiple ways. Some people might even see a way that you can find a large rectangle by including this little piece and then taking out what's missing. All of those are valid ways to solve it. But let's stay focused on making a cut right here so that we've got 1, 2 rectangles. You want to label the pieces you're making so that you can organize your workspace accordingly. Okay, so now that I've got my rectangles all split up, let's make sure that I know all of the side lengths that I need. So I can see for rectangle number 1, the base is 5 and the height is 7, so that works out fine for me. Rectangle number 2 though is a little bit different. I've got a base of 3 and I need to figure out this length for the height. And I can only do that if I notice that this is 3 as well. And since this is parallel to this side, I could extend this length of 3 over to here. See how that works? Because since this is another rectangle, this is 3, it's equivalent to 3 on the other side. Those are 2 parallel sides, and since rectangles have 2 sets of equal sides, we know that that's 3. Which means that the remaining side must be 4. And since this is another big rectangle, I've got 4 over here as well. So what I'm left with is 2 rectangles. The first rectangle, I'm going to draw a little sketch of it, has a base of 5 and a height of 7. That's this one. And the second rectangle has a base of 3, it's the smaller rectangle, and it has a height of 4. All right, now all I have to do is find the area. You know the area of a rectangle is base times height, or length times width, which means the area is going to be 5 times 7, which means it's 35 meters squared. And for rectangle number 2, the area is base times height. This is what showing your algebra looks like, by the way, always starting with a formula, even if you can do it in your head. The base is 3, and the height is 4. 3 times 4 is 12, so it's 12 meters squared. And that means the total area is going to be 35 plus 12, which is 47 meters squared. All right, let's look at one that's more interesting. When you look at this shape, what do you see? There are lots of different ways to do this, but probably the simplest way is to make a cut right here so that we've got a triangle and a big rectangle. Let's label the rectangle number 1 and the triangle number 2. Let's do the same thing we did before. We have a rectangle, and that rectangle has a base of 10 and a height of 9. And we also have a triangle. And that triangle has, I need to figure something out. I don't know what this base is. How can I figure out this base? Well, I can notice that this is 6 here, and so if I go directly across to the parallel side, this length is also 6. And since the whole thing is 10, this is 6, what's left is 4. And that means this is 4. So our triangle has a base of 4 and a height of 3. All right, let's show our algebra. The area is equal to base times height, which is 10 times 9, or 90 centimeters squared. And for the triangle, the area is equal to 1/2 base times height, or 1/2 times 3 times 4, which is equal to 1/2 times 12, or 6 centimeters squared. And although you probably feel done, you're not. You've still got to add them both together. So the total, let's label that the total, is going to be 90 plus 6, or 96 centimeters squared. Hooray!